For the Board of Zoning and Appeals for October 18th, if we could stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Chris, are you doing roll call? Jason, I'm sorry.
I don't have it.
If I can get roll call, please.
Mark LaRue, absent.
Absent.
Drago Popovic,
Here.
Brendan Sheeran,
Here.
John Kennedy,
Here.
Nancy Wooland,
Here.
Adam Decker,
Here.
Chris Salatis.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. We have 4 members present. Minutes, can I get a motion to defer? Minutes are not available as of yet.
Motion to defer minutes.
I got a motion. Is there a second?
Second it.
There's a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes. So just for some housekeeping, tonight on the agenda, we have 7 public hearings. So the protocol is that I will call up the first petitioner. Please come to the podium, state your name, address, and then at that time, you will make your case for the variance, or the potential change in a variance. That will allow the board members then to ask any questions that they may have. At that time, after that, I will then open it up to public hearing. I will verify everything's good to go for public hearing. We'll take public hearing. We'll review any comments that we receive electronically to the town. At that time, once I close public hearing, I will call out 3 times. I will shut down public hearing. No more comments regarding that agenda item. There's comment period at the end of the meeting. You can make any public comment at that time regarding anything. But during that public hearing time, you'll know when I close it, then all public comment hearing is done. And then after public comment, we'll bring the petitioner back up to the podium, address any comments that they might have heard, give us additional questions to the petitioner, and then we will take it under consideration at this time. So that is the protocol. We will start with then item A. We have development variance to construct a detached 28 by 22 garage in the rear yard and a 5-foot from the yard setback at 9211 Park Drive. This is a single-family resident. I have Carolyn DeYoung and Ryan Knoll. Hopefully I said that correctly. If you would come up, state your name, address, and the reason for the variance request.
Yes, thank you. My name is Ryan Knoll. I'm from Knoll & Sons Contractors, which is based out of Crete, Illinois. I'm here on behalf of the homeowners as petitioner, Kyle and Carolyn DeYoung, 9211 Park Drive. We're seeking variance to construct the detached garage in the rear yard. Is currently a single-family home in a cul-de-sac on Park Drive, not too far from here. They don't currently have any type of garage for their vehicles. The cul-de-sac is kind of small and tight, and so obviously we feel that the addition of the garage would make it better for the neighborhood, for reduce some of the street parking that they have, would increase the curb appeal of their property by keeping some of the vehicles and they have several children, keeping their toys and things in a garage instead of on the side of the house. There's also currently a partial poured concrete and partial gravel driveway that would become all gravel as part of this, or all poured, I'm sorry, as part of this project, which we also feel would enhance the curb appeal. We also feel like it would enhance obviously the property value for the DeYoungs. A house with no garage at all is a difficult one to sell, and enhance the value of the neighbors' homes as well. just by improving the look of the property in general. Yeah, I believe that's all that I have.
Okay. So board, Nancy, if you heard that, any questions, comments? Ryan, oh, go ahead.
Previously, you had a 4-foot offset off the property line. Now you've got 5, correct?
That's correct. We were also in that meeting, we talked about the code restricting the height of the roof peak at 14 feet. Originally had a 612 pitch, that was corrected to 412 pitch, which gets me below that to 13'6" for that, to comply with that as well.
So for the board's understanding, there are 2 variants here. One, he needs a variance for a detached garage. That's his first variance. The second variance is a 5-foot setback from the side yard. Now, here's where it gets, our ordinance is a little complicated. There's 2 different ordinances. One that states for a detached garage to be 5 foot away from the side yard. Second one says any structure needs to be 10 feet. Since it's conflicting variances, we are going with the more stricter one of 10 feet. So that's why he will need a variance from that one, even though one of our variances specifically says garage 5 feet. But if there's ever a conflict, we have to go with the stricter of the 2. So that's why you see 2 different variances, one for 2496B detached garage, that's for him to do a detached garage, and then the other one from a side yard in arrears. A couple questions. It looks like the siding of the garage is blue. Is that correct?
Yeah, my drawing program didn't have it exactly. We're changing we have a building permit right now, and this week we're changing the siding on the house
To match?
to a gray, blue. The siding on the garage, if constructed, will be the same exact siding.
I've driven out to the site. It looks like there's some grade change between your neighbor to the north. You're addressing any runoff from the roof?
Yes.
So, okay. Questions, comments from the board? If not, I will open it up to public hearing. Hearing none, if you want to take a seat. Unless I have not been told they are not ready for public hearing, so I will open it up to public hearing. At this time, I'm opening up public hearing for variance request for a detached garage and rear yard, as well as a side yard variance of under 10 feet for Carolyn DeDung at 9211 Park Drive. If anyone from the public would like to speak, please again, name and address, and give us your opinion. I did not see anything electronically for this one. Okay. Again, any public comment regarding the detached garage and the side yard variance? Third and final time. Hold your peace. Going. Public hearing is now closed. Bring it.
Like an auctioneer.
Yeah, come. Trying to make it entertaining. If you want to come back to the podium, there was no public comment. Any other final questions for the board members regarding this? Comments, questions? Having no garage, I think it would be a hindrance for us not to allow you to have a detached garage. Usually when someone wants a detached garage, they always have an existing garage. So it's usually a little bit more why and the what, but we understand what this is for. Well, I understand what this is for. So, gentlemen, with that, and Nancy, if you have any questions, if not, I will entertain a motion. Please reference on page 2 of your packet the finding of facts. Again, we will have to do 2 variances, one for a detached garage, and then again for the side yard setback. And understanding we have 2 different ordinances. It specifically says in one of the ordinance, a detached garage is a minimum 5 feet, the other one is a structure. So, understanding that your neighbor to your north, that what I would have been most concerned with, because your garage is on the north side of your lot, has not said anything regarding an issue with this. So I'm hoping that he understands the reasoning for this.
From my
detached garage.
understanding, he's comfortable with it, but,
Very good. So with that, Nancy, or gentlemen, I will take a motion regarding first the detached garage, and please reference the finding of facts on page 2 on your packet. And then, if that is determined, then the side yard setback variance.
I make a motion to approve the variance for 24-96B detached garage for the Carolyn D. Young residence, and that approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property, included in the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. That the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There is a second. Questions, comments before we vote? Just want for clarification for the record. The siding on the garage is going to be similar to the siding or the house, and garage siding will be uniform.
yes, they'll be the exact same siding
Okay,
and color.
very good. Hearing no other comments or questions, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes. Motion for a detached garage has been approved. Now, again, he is 5 feet from the side yard setback. Due to the duplication of variances, we are going with the stricter interpretation of 10. So he will need a variance of a 5 feet setback for this detached garage. So, with the pleasure of the board.
I'm going to go for a motion to approve 24-95, subsection D3. That approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, or comfort of the general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, and that strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second it.
There is a second. Questions, comments, discussion? If not, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes. Motion to approve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up to the podium, we have a development of variance for, where's 9233 West 91st Place. It's zoned C2 PUD. They are looking to exceed the permitted 250 square feet of accessory area by 182 feet for a 432 square foot structure in their backyard. Alex and Bozica?
Božica.
Bozica.
Božica.
Božica. Yeah.
Sorry. Romnick, homeowners.
Yes.
So state your name, address, and then the reason for the variance.
Okay, so Bozica and Alex Romich, we're at 9233 West 91st Place. We're just looking to build a pool, like a pool gazebo larger than 250 square feet. So it would be 18 by 24.
Yeah, the drawing said 20 by 24,
Yeah.
but we'll be 2.5 foot or 2 feet inside the house line, or the build line.
And just for the board's understanding as well, they are also looking to exceed the roof height or the height of the structure by a foot. I think ordinance only allows 14 feet. They're looking for 15.1, I think is the, if I
think
looked
it's
at the
gonna
drawing.
be maybe 14 and a half. It's gonna be under 15.
Yeah.
So there's two variance requests. Again, so this structure is going to be used for,
So we put in already put in a in-ground pool.
okay,
So we're just looking to have like a pavilion.
For shade.
Yeah.
'cause our house goes west to east. It's
And we-
full sun all day, so,
so it's all enclosed, correct?
no,
No.
the backside will be towards the street.
Yeah. And behind us, we have a small pond.
There's a pond south of us and east of us. I don't know if Subline's building there, I heard they're not, because it's a preserve.
Questions, comments from the board?
You said it's not all enclosed? It's not all under a roof? Or
Yeah,
is-
it's gonna
Oh,
be under
yeah.
a roof.
Oh,
yeah,
okay, okay, I'm sorry, okay.
I was
only be
asking,
one wall.
4 walls. It's only gonna be one wall.
Okay. And then what'd you say the total height was?
It's gonna be right around, well, that structure that we gave you, it's gonna be smaller than that. That was 20 by 24, this is gonna be 18 by 24.
You remember the height?
On the drawing, I thought it was 15.1.
What is the drawing?
Super hard to read this, what I have. On my magnifying glass.
Right here. I can't see it. It's hard to see. What did it say?
Because this plan's for the older version, the bigger one, right?
Yes,
So that roof's gonna change, that roof's gonna drop.
yeah, it's gonna drop, yeah. It's gonna be below 15,
Yeah.
Below 15?
yeah.
Well, they don't, that's not even a variance issue.
Anything above 14.
Oh, above 14, I thought it was 15.
Above 14.
Okay, okay, I'm sorry.
I think we have the.
And obviously, the design's gonna match the house, the
Yeah, the roof.
the roof and all that, yeah.
No, yeah, that's,
Is there a need to have it this large? You're
Well, the two-
182, you're almost 75% larger than what we allow currently. I mean,
Well-
is this an all or nothing type? Because, I mean, it sounded like I would love to hang out under this pavilion with you guys in the pool, but this stays with the lot. Yeah, this stays with the lot, not just with you guys. So anytime we make this variance change, it goes with the lot, not the homeowner. So if,
Oh,
and then we sort of set, not that every variance is unique in its own self, but sometimes we sort of set precedents.
Oh,
So
you're
if
right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
if we're allowing something of this size, and it's just, I mean, does it affect? I mean, I understand what you're trying to do, but it just seems it just seems to me a little bit large for a
Okay,
request
so,
like this.
so the pool is 16, so we're only going, what, 4 feet
Yeah.
past? So 4 feet past each side of the pool.
Right.
Okay.
I have these pictures, I don't know if you guys wanna see
Yeah,
them.
we took a picture today, like with stakes in the ground.
Yeah, I'd like to
Yeah.
see those.
Oh, go, okay, hold on. There's 2.
you read that roof pitch, what's the roof pitch?
I circled
What's that?
stakes
Can you
here,
read that roof
but
pitch?
then there's.
With the roof
like,
pitch?
expect to see the stake, I should have circled them here.
Can't read it.
Here, let me get it up on mine. But that's the bigger one.
Yeah, but it's still the same pitch though, so if I know this and the smaller, we can figure out that, you know.
It says 15.1, yeah.
That's just to there, not to the top of the roof, or is, yeah, is it 15 plus 5? That 15 is from there to there.
Oh, so that's
Then-
20 feet.
Yeah, it's way,
But is that for the old one?
That was for the old one.
yeah, but they didn't change the height. Even if they change the width, that'll change this number, that doesn't change that number. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it would be 15, it was 15 on here and 5/8.
Is it-
Can it come down?
Yeah,
This drawing, it
He's
looks
gonna
like,
make the pitch,
according to this drawing that I'm looking at, the way he's got it called out, it's 15 foot from the floor to the joists. And then another 5 feet from the joist to the top of the roof.
No, it shows 10-1 from the floor to the joist.
Is that 10?
I zoomed it in.
Well, maybe,
yeah.
maybe I'm,
Sorry.
It's
it looks
10-1.
like 15 to me, but
It looks like 15 to me too, that's why.
it's just hard to tell with this drawing. I mean, 10 to 1, yeah, because I was thinking that's insanely
Yeah, it's
high.
10-1. yeah.
Okay. It's hard to see on this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tall ceilings for a pool house.
I was
Yeah.
gonna say, that's insane. I definitely want to hang out with you then.
I must have missed, well, I just couldn't see it.
I just couldn't see, I can't read it, that's why I thought that was insane. Okay.
All right, if you want to take a seat, we're going to open up the public hearing.
Okay.
Any more questions from the board?
Look at those, the stakes are
I
here.
mean, it looks awesome.
Here, I can't see that one. Those are marked.
Yeah,
Okay.
I see it. I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
All right, at this time, we're going to open up the public hearing. Again, it's for two variances for 9233 West 91st Place. The variance is, one, to exceed the 2,250 square feet to 432 square feet for accessory structure, and then to exceed the maximum height of 14 feet to, sir, what is the exact number? Because usually, if depending on how the variance is read, we cap it, just to make sure it doesn't go higher than what,
It won't be more than 14.6, so 14.5.
14.6.
But he said he would put the joists on a lower pitch too, so.
Yeah, you can get it down to 60.
All right. With that, I'll have the first call to, we'll open up the public hearing for accessory structure and ceiling height. If there's anyone from the public that would like to comment. Second call for anyone from the public to comment. Chris, I'm just confirming, I didn't see any electronic. Third and final call. Any comments regarding 9233 West 91st Place? Going. Public hearing is now closed. Alex and
Bozica.
Bazika, if you want to come to the podium, it shouldn't be that hard, I apologize. Come back. You come back. At this time, any questions, comments from the board? Hearing no questions or comments, I will entertain a motion. Again, it will have to be, and please reference the finding of facts on page 2.
I make a motion to approve the variance for 9233 West 91st Place in St. John. And that would be section 24-461 B to exceed 250 square feet. And the approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. That the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We have a second. Discussion? Hearing, just to let you know, my concern is regarding item number 3. It looks like it's going to be a beautiful facility. I think it's a 72% over 250 for a pool house. So just to know where I'm coming from regarding this. So with that, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
No. Motion to approve is approved. Next on the agenda is,
Oh, we have to do the second variance?
14 feet.
no. Adam, we did not put a limit on the variant motion. Is it too late to go back and put
32.
432?
You may.
Because right now, we just allowed a variance over 250.
Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Yeah, you may, but you have to present it as a motion and vote on it.
All right, to the board, just in past previous, right now, we just allowed you a variance over 250 feet.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, no. So I want to clarify, so this drawing showed a structure of, so I just want to make sure, so it's 24 by 18, I just want to make sure we're doing our math right. So I will ask the board for their consideration to make a motion regarding this previous variance to set the limit at, let me just get my calculator, make sure I'm doing the math right. 24 by 18 to 432 for their consideration on this approval.
So would I just make a motion for contingency on the approval?
Well, what you're doing is you're actually, it's not a contingency, you're just simply restricting the square footage of the allowed
Accessory structure.
developmental variance.
Okay, so all right, so I make a motion to put a restriction on the variance that was just approved, 24-461B, that the building does not exceed 432 square feet as planned.
Thank you. I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second, discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes?
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
No. Next on the agenda is a variance to exceed the 14 feet. So you're comfortable with 14.6 because we will ask for a contingency on the roof height not going more than 14.6? Yes. Okay. So now on the agenda, we have an item to exceed, the roof to exceed the 14 feet by 14 feet 6. Any discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion. And please make a contingent, or let's put the specifics on the roof height. That was my mistake.
I make a motion to approve the section 24-461C to exceed 14 foot, but not to exceed 14 and a half feet.
I have a motion for variance. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There is a second discussion.
I got to do.
Mr. Chairman, could you please have Mr. Popovich
Finding of
include the findings with his
Thank you.
motion?
And that approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community, that the use of, and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Brendan, you good with that?
I am.
Okay, I got a second discussion. Roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes?
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
No. Motion to approve passes. Thank you.
Okay.
Next one on the agenda, we have a use variance. What's different with a use variance, the BZA makes a recommendation to the town council, which is the ultimate decision maker on this. So we will recommend this use variance to the town council, and then at a later, potentially their next meeting, they will take up this use variance, and they have the final decision. So they could either agree with our recommendation, or they can go against our recommendation. So, just so everyone understands, it's a recommendation. So we have a use variance to allow a childcare daycare facility at 13190 Snowberry Lane. It's zoned R2 Single Family. Sean and Claudia Decker are the property owners. If you state your name and address and reason for the use variance. And you understand tonight's only a recommendation.
I understand, yep.
Okay,
Thank you
thank
for
you.
clarifying. So I'm Sean Decker. I'm the owner for property at 13190 Snowberry Lane. This is my wife, Claudia.
How are you?
So we actually live at 8125 Knickerbocker Place. We've lived there since 2019. We've been in St. John since 2013. We originally purchased the house at Snowberry, lived there, and in 2017 we had our daughter Hannah, who was born. We were looking for daycare in the area, ended up settling at our current residence, which is Knickerbocker, for childcare because they had a home-based childcare in the home since 2006. Highly rated, and we didn't want to send our daughter to a center. We wanted to send her to a home-based environment. Well, fast forward a couple years, that business and home was being sold because the owner wanted to retire. So we approached her after shopping for daycares for about 3 weeks, couldn't find any, and the waiting list was about 2 to 3 months or longer in most areas. Offered to buy the house and acquire the business. We did. And since then, we've been running that business successfully. At the exact same time, we rented out our house at Snowberry Lane. The renters have just moved out as of a couple of weeks ago. October 1st was their move-out date. And needless to say, the house is in need of a ton of repairs. It's in far worse condition than I had hoped. So we got a lot of work to do, more than I'd anticipated when we were preparing for the daycare, but it is what it is. And so what we want to do is we want to make this into a residential childcare Class 1 daycare, which is the smallest one that exists in the state of Indiana, the maximum capacity being 12 kids. The age range would be almost entirely birth to age 4. The maximum we would ever accept is age 5. Usually they're transitioning to a formal education at that point. So I think the hours, we're looking at 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday. We would like to meet the demand of a whole bunch of calls we're getting. We're getting approximately 3 to 4 calls per week for parents wanting childcare. And the reason is simple. With COVID, it's killed the supply. There's a couple of people who provide daycare in the area that went under. And then also at the same time, we're building subdivision after subdivision all around our house. Parents want it. The environment being home-based, and then also it's on the way from where they live to their work. They don't have to drive out to 41 in order to find a center to send their kid to. Finally, the location's ideal. Not only is it close for parents, and there's tons of residential in the area, there's a park in the backyard. You don't have to walk across streets and sidewalks in order to get to the park. It's literally, you look out the backyard and there's a park with no roads to it other than a service drive. The house is a ranch. There's no stairs. There's no basement, which is ideal from a child safety perspective. The parking in the house, or in the garage, there's 2 for employees, and then in the driveway, there's 4, which is more than enough. Your average parent is there for less than 5 minutes during pickup and drop-off time. And then finally, we would be fully licensed. The center that we have right now, or the daycare in our home right now, the prior owner had passed over 30 inspections since 2006. We kept the same employees on. When it transitioned to us, we had to renew all the requirements. And we've since passed 10 inspections in the last year and a half, 100% of them actually, and so did our predecessor. So we have a high standard. My wife right now is getting her early childhood education degree. She's already got her bachelor's from VU in business, but this is a totally different avenue. So I see some neighbors here. I assume seeing a big sign and a daycare kind of causes people to panic. I can get that. So let me address what if I were a neighbor, I'd be concerned about, and I'd want to hear. First is, are we going to have cars all over the place? The answer is no. For 90% of the day, Monday through Friday, you wouldn't even see cars in the driveway because the employees could park in the garage. The second is they'll never be on the street, won't need to be. 4 spaces is more than enough for a maximum of 12 kids. It'll be uninhabited on nights and weekends. We'll have a security system installed. So, yeah, there'll be an uptick during the weekdays during those times for parents pick up and drop off. But you're not going to have Uber Eats, Amazon, what else? Shipped. I mean, you're not going to have all these deliveries that we currently have multiple times per day. So to argue traffic is overall going to be higher would be false. It's going to be less because there's going to be nothing but crickets on the nights and weekends. Next, the next thing I would address is, yard appearance. Right now, I'm very unhappy with the exterior appearance of our home. Power washing, landscaping, all kinds of problems. We got to tear out the deck; it's rotting. Our prior tenants, didn't take great care of it, so we gotta adjust that. And I bring all this up because one of the concerns might be, well, how's the property value going to be affected? Well, I would very clearly argue it's going to be improved, and the reason is simple. Any parent sending a baby to a house for childcare is going to want to make sure it's clean, nice, well-maintained. If it's not, they won't send them, especially not in St. John. From a safety perspective, we have to pass fire inspections. We also have state-issued inspections, 100 pages of regulations that govern child cares that we have to comply with. It's a lot. Next thing would be like, am I going to see a bunch of toys in the front yard or even in the backyard? Am I going to see kids running across the street? Well, I just remind them that they're toddlers. They're little. They're going to be inside. We will go to the park a couple times a day. They'll be out for playtime. They're rarely out for more than an hour per time. So once in the morning, once in the afternoon, and that's in the summer. In the winter, it's going to be less than that. So as far as toys, I mean, a lot less than what my kids had. I had a massive trampoline in the backyard with my kids, as well as a couple of playhouses and many other things. So it'd be pretty hard to argue from an exterior appearance or from a traffic perspective or from a property value perspective that any of these would be worse. In fact, I'd argue all of them would be better than what I've seen over the last couple of years especially. So finally, I would say if I'm signage. We don't need any signage. We're getting 3 or 4 parents calling us every week. I mean, we could keep that daycare running without having to put a very large neon sign saying casino, gambling, and childcare here. So it'll be well kept. It'll be clean, and we'll play by the rules. From a facility, land, building, perimeter perspective, we're asking for no accommodation. It's only the use. Everything else about the property is completely compliant with the residential use as is. And with that, I just want to say I appreciate your time. I know you guys have to talk and hear other perspectives on that. So if you have any questions, feel free to let me know.
Questions, comments from the board?
I have a question. And maybe I missed this part. Are you doing this in addition to your current daycare?
Yes, we are.
And your current daycare is on Knickerbocker and Osage Court?
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So you live at the Knickerbocker house,
That's correct. Yep. It's about 7 minutes away.
and this house will only be used during business operations?
Monday through Friday, 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m.
So no one's actually going to be living there?
That's correct. Yep.
There. So you have to get state regulations and requirements and zoning. Do you have to change your property tax classification since it's not a residence to commercial for property tax purposes?
Yeah, I'd have to look into it. I know it already changed when we rented it out. I just don't recall how that all worked, and I can ask my accountant.
Okay. 'Cause yeah, for residential, state requires 1%. If it's a commercial development or commercial use, which it seems like this house is strictly going to be commercial, would have to be 2%. So the property tax should, if this is strictly going to be a commercial operation, it sounds like should be required to pay 2% for it. So just, that's the financial guy in me, so I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So, all right. Because what do you, on your Knickerbocker, since you reside there, you probably pay the 1% property tax.
Yeah, I mean, it would, depending on how you calculate the 1% off of. If it's based on appraised value that I just had when I refinanced, then yeah, we're
Yeah.
paying more than 1%, but yeah,
Okay.
that's a different meaning, right? Just joking. We'll pay our taxes, though.
Yeah, I
promise.
know. I was just wondering if anyone's going to reside there as a resident, and it does, sounds like it's not, so it's almost strictly, mostly just a commercial operation, and then just, I'm trying to obtain value for the town, so.
Yeah.
to get additional property tax, so
Makes sense.
that's, so.
I'm glad you let me know. I don't want to find out later I made a
Yeah.
mistake and got back taxes.
So max, you're having max 12, or you're suggesting you would have max 12 kids?
That would be the license for the state of Indiana. That's how they index it. It's
And-
non-commercial, so.
Do you need to provide anything to the facility for ADA requirements?
Do you recall that?
Not from a licensing perspective for daycare, we don't have to that I'm aware of anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd have to look into that.
Yeah.
It's part of the process, though, to review it when we go through the licensing.
All right.
So.
Those are just a couple of things I thought of, so. Any other questions from the board before I open it up to public comment? All right, if you want to take a seat, I'm going to open it up to public comment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
At this time, I'm going to open it up for public comment for a use variance for 1319 Snowberry Lane for a single family to allow a child care daycare facility. Again, this is public comment. I'll open it up. When you come up to the podium, if you would state your name and address for the record, please. This is all going to be recorded. We do have some other comments that we received electronically, so after comments are made here, if you would allow me to read a couple letters that I have received, for public hearing before I close it. So at this time, public hearing is now open, and if you would state your name and address for the record, please.
My name is Amy Schultz. I live at 131 Snowberry Lane. I'm sorry, 13131.
Can you put the microphone down a little bit towards you? Thank
That'll
you.
probably help. Amy Schultz. I live at 13131 Snowberry Lane. I think half of my neighbors are here tonight. We are all very much opposed to having a business located on our street across from our house. Earlier tonight, you talked about setting precedents, and I don't think that allowing businesses in the middle of our residential streets is a precedent that the town should be setting. One of the issues that I am concerned about is increased noise. It is a residential area where people want to enjoy the peace and quiet of their homes. With increased people comes and increased children. Increased traffic comes increased noise. Our neighborhood is relatively quiet and peaceful, and we would prefer to keep it that way. I know that they mentioned the use of our park. That was already something that I had considered. Our park is not very large. There's a lot of land, but the equipment is very limited. There's a couple sets of swings, and there's one like jungle gym facility. It's nothing like Prairie West or even Homestead Acres Park. It is a relatively small area. There's room to grow if anyone wants to. I suppose that's a Parks Department issue, but for what we have, there's limited equipment, and it cannot accommodate crowds of children. If there's going to be 12 children going to the park on a daily basis, it's going to be excluding our actual residents who live in the area and their children who won't be able to utilize the park anymore. Additionally, there's going to be wear and tear and upkeep costs that will be on the town, which the town will have to incur for the sole benefit of their childcare business. The other issue is traffic. I think they definitely tried to downplay the amount of traffic. Pickup and drop-off times are going to be in the busiest times of the day. We already have school buses going up and down our streets. We have plenty of neighbors who have to park their vehicles on the streets, so traffic and navigating up and down the street is always an issue. The main way in and out of our street is through Shilton Drive because it connects out to Patterson, and then you can also connect out to 93rd. Shilton Drive is already in disrepair. It's cracked. There are holes as you're approaching Snowberry Lane from 93rd. Just living there, I'm weaving around the road trying to avoid the holes and cracks. The road can't handle the extra traffic. It's already used by people that are trying to cut through and avoid the traffic at 93rd and 41. They cut over from Patterson to 93rd so they can head over to 101st and 109th. Quite a few families on Snowberry Lane have children. People blow the stop signs at the corner of Snowberry and Shilton all the time. They don't even stop. They hardly slow down. My neighbor who lives on the corner of of Shilton and Snowberry, I've seen him out in his yard yelling at people as they blow through the stop sign because he has children. Their times for drop-off and pickup are going to be when we're all trying to go to work and we're all trying to get our own kids to school. If they have 12 children being dropped off, let's say between 6:30 and 7 o'clock in the morning when everybody's trying to get to work, there's going to be substantial drop-off issues when they can only hold 4 cars in their driveway, but maybe they've got 12 families coming to drop off. So that is going to back up into our streets, and that means it's going to be hard for our own residents to get in and out of our own driveways. Snowberry Lane and even Shilton Drive was not made to handle business traffic. Moreover, we feel this variance will be materially detrimental and substantially adverse to the surrounding property owners. It will decrease our property value, making it hard for us to sell our properties in the future because who wants to live on a street with a business that has increased noise and increased traffic? Just because they plan to keep the house clean and maintained doesn't mean our property values are automatically going to go up. People are going to look at the increased traffic and the increased noise, the increased people, and that will make a difference as well in our property values going down. All of these things with noise and traffic, they are going to interfere with the peaceful use of the surrounding properties. I'm not really sure how Mr. Decker even has a childcare license, since my research on childcare licensing says that someone who has a history of domestic violence is not allowed to obtain a daycare license, and he has so been charged back in 2020. And I have that case information as well. It was 45 GO3 2005 F6 1032. They don't live on Snowberry Lane anymore. If they want to have their home-based business, then they can do it in their home, on their street, where only they are the ones suffering the consequences from having a business in their residential neighborhood, instead of trying to inflict the traffic and noise and all the inconveniences on their own neighbors, including me and everyone else that came tonight. So I would ask you to, I would respectfully request that you deny their zoning request.
Thank you. Next, anyone else for public comment? Again, please state your name and address for the record. And if you want to pull that microphone down,
I'm short, yes.
yes, there you go. Thank you. Name and address, please.
Cecile Shiley, 13191 Snowberry Lane. We're exactly across from the house.
Okay.
I agree, we will have, it will not help the values of our houses. I lived there for more than 20 years now, and the traffic during the summertime, everybody's parking on the streets. A lot of us have campers, so our driveway has a camper in it, so everybody else is on the street. It's already difficult for the school buses to get through. To add more traffic onto the street and people that we don't know coming through will make it even harder for the school buses until school's out. Wintertime, we're not plowed right away. Wintertime will be a nightmare with them coming in. And I understand kids are different hours. It's not going to be all 12 at once. Some parents will probably be, one time or another time, but it's still traffic coming in that people we don't know. And then that's also bringing a problem of people coming into the neighborhood that we don't know. And what if there's a domestic dispute? One of the partners decide that they're going to go there and take their kid and the other one's fighting. That's going to bring more problems to the neighborhood. We'd really like to keep it residential. We have enough traffic already on the road. The school buses do have a problem getting through at certain times of the day. They have to navigate their way through. Everybody, all the residents do the best they can to try to leave enough room for the school buses, because we know this, we live there. We don't mind having a neighbor. Claudia is very nice. I don't mind, but I do not want a business in our area. It's just going to bring, it's not going to be a community area anymore. It's not going to be a subdivision and not worry about, you got 41, there's a lot of traffic on that. We don't want that in our area. And we don't want the consequences of having a business there. And like she said, it's going to open it up for other things. And then eventually, your neighborhood's gone. So I appreciate if you consider these things.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Again, sir, name and address for the record, please.
Yes, good evening, gentlemen. My name is Frank Morcivillo. I reside at 13160 Snowberry. I reside at the residence right next door to the right of the property in question. And what I'd like to add is I appreciate Mr. and Mrs. Decker's desire to run a successful business enterprise, and I have no personal animosity towards them in any way, shape, or form. However, since I reside immediately next door, I feel that I have the most to lose. One thing, for example, one of the reasons we chose this property, my backyard goes seamlessly into the park behind us, and that's what and then you could see the wood line and everything else. There's a cyclone fence that separates our property, and it would almost seem that it would be necessary to have a privacy fence, but yet at the same time that will absolutely destroy the aesthetic of having kind of the open fields and park that we enjoy. And I also feel that they are underestimating the impact of the traffic and the congestion, and it just simply boils down to, it's a residential area, it's quiet, it's peaceful. That's why we moved there, and I am not convinced that this will not be detrimental to our property values and a whole host of unforeseen problems. I just simply don't believe that there should be a commercial enterprise in a residential area. And I appreciate your consideration, gentlemen. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Anyone else? Seeing no one, oh. No, again, I'm going to repeat myself. Name and address, please, sir.
My name is Gary Chick. I live at 13130 Snowberry Lane. I'm 2 houses directly east of them. I live next to Frank. I've been there for about 30 years now. I was the second house built on that block, and one of the reasons I chose St. John is because it's a beautiful area, and I feel great living here. I think many years ago, before they put Chilton Hills Drive all the way through, Chilton Hills was fighting us because they said our traffic from them to go to 93rd would increase immensely. Well, it was just the opposite. Everyone from Chilton Hills and then from 93rd is cutting through there. As somebody else stated, that you can stay at our 4-way stop and everybody keeps blowing it every day a lot, and it's mostly kids going to high school, which is going to happen. But I feel it will diminish our property because what they're putting together sounds fantastic right now, but in 5 years, is the house going to look the same? The wear and tear, is he going to be able to keep up with it? They talk about a max of 12 kids. Well, you know how you go through the line and you say, oh, 20 items. I got 21, 22. Next thing you know, there might be 13, 14 kids there. Traffic's going to get immense, just like it did for the kids coming from going to high school through our area. I think it'll be a big problem down the road. I really do. Right now, it's one of the most peaceful areas in the area, and that's one of why I live here, and I like to stay here, and I love it. So I'm just afraid it's going to not be what we all decided when we moved here.
Right.
I would consider not making it commercial because who knows what else you could change down the road. Because I know it's all wetlands behind us. Could you make that a commercial property too? Which I'd rather not see. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for your comments. No other comments. I will read the correspondence we received for the record. First one is from Delbert and Cecile Shirley at 13191 Snowberry Lane. We strongly object to the proposed zoning change for 13190 Snowberry Lane. We live directly across the street from said property. Snowberry Lane does not need any additional traffic. The area is residential. It needs to remain as such. Second letter from Pete Gibson, 8850 Verbena Drive. I am writing to express my opposition to the request for a special exemption for a home-based childcare business being proposed within an R1 residential neighborhood, as this type of business will surely increase vehicular traffic, noise level, safety issues, and a reduction in property value. This is a quiet bedroom community/neighborhood, and the inclusion of a business into the neighborhood will only increase the noise level from the extra vehicular traffic and those utilizing the business. Further, with this business being adjacent to the neighborhood park, the increased traffic flow will cause a safety hazard for those residents who utilize the park, as attendees of the business will be dropped off at various times in the close proximity to the park entrance. As a resident of this neighborhood, I purchase our home for the tranquility and the property value, both of which will be diminished if this request is approved. I again ask this request be denied. And then, as of today, this letter is to voice our, this is from, Clayton T. Riff, 8830 Verbena Court, St. John, Indiana. This letter is to voice our objection to zoning change in Sun Meadow subdivision, 13190 Snowberry Lane. This area is a residential area. We do not need or want a commercial business in this area. Daycare or other businesses, this would add to increase in congestion and traffic. Please add our objection to this zoning change. Those are 3 letters. As of this afternoon, we did not receive any more. Again, public comment. Anyone having public comment? Public comment is now closed. Claudia and Sean, if you want to come back to the podium. Is there any comments, additional comments you would like to make to the board before
Absolutely. I so appreciate the fact that I can respond to some of these. So I'll take them one by one. So the first thing is the park size. First of all, we've got the best view of that park of anyone. And we lived there for 6 years and no one hardly used that. And we're talking about hardly any use with little kids in small groups. So that I thought was kind of a odd concern, but we can put the playing in the backyard if that's some sort of a restriction you guys would like to place on us for that accommodation. That doesn't bother me too much. From a safety perspective, I already went through the traffic numbers. Yeah, there'll be an uptick definitely from the 7:30 to 9 window of time, Monday through Friday. Nights and weekends, it's going to be dead. So depending on how you want to calculate it. I agree that the RVs that are 40-foot long with kids living in them in the driveway in front of people's houses is a hazard because it forces cars onto the roads, especially during the winter when plowing. So I think that's a valid concern. So yeah, I mean, I think that's a risk that should be addressed, but it has nothing to do with my situation here. As far as precedent, that was another concern raised. We already have the business. It's been around for 15 years. We're living in it. It's doing very well. We've had no complaints for the last 15 years. So I understand why everyone is fearful of change, especially in their immediate area when they have nothing personally to benefit from it, because all the people that would have something to benefit, they can't possibly be here because that business doesn't exist yet. I mean, we do have all the parents that we've had through our current daycare, and they're all happy about it. So people vote with their feet. Ultimately, the people who would suffer if we don't go this route is a bunch of parents who can't find daycare, just like ourselves, and have to pay $100 more a week per kid, and then commute into Chicago or wherever it is that they work, because there is no daycare that is accepting people right now. There's ridiculous shortages. So when you're expanding a community like St. John's with one subdivision after another, we have to keep these things in mind when we're expanding. Yeah, we can add roads, we can add businesses, we could add subdivisions, but we need childcare too. And that's just practical. Domestic violence? That is not correct. It was disorderly conduct. Who was that you?
Mr.
just want to let you know, just to clarify.
Address the board, please. Address the board.
It had nothing to do with this daycare. So, different issues. So, all right. I think.
All right.
Yeah. Oh, the privacy fence. I did want to address that. We had a privacy fence. My neighbor took it down. We paid for a chain link fence to replace the privacy fence that he took down. So I had a fence on 3 sides. I went, dropped a couple grand to fill in the line because he wanted to have an open space between 2 yards. Now, I never brought it up, but to say that, this is going to obstruct some view when he bought the house that didn't exist because there was a privacy fence there that he failed to pony up the dollars to replace, a little disingenuous. So I never griped about paying for a new fence, but the fact that he brought it up tonight, politely stated, but still a low shot nonetheless. So I felt like that was important to address.
All right,
So-
Mr. Decker. Well, thank you very much for addressing some of those comments. I'll bring it to the board. Questions, comments for the board regarding special use variance. Again, this is a recommendation. Again, based on the recommendation, please reference the finding of fact. And just since I use the word precedence, so I think I should describe when I mean precedence. 15 years ago, unfortunately, I was not on this board when that was done. And whether I agree with that decision or not, I sort of agree that this is a residential area and a commercial development, which it's not being used residential at all. It's strictly a commercial development or commercial use. I just have concerns with that. The residents, I don't live in that neighborhood, so I have to give some weight to their opinion. At the same time, I got to do what's best for the whole community as whole. So I don't think it's a good, yes, it's been done 15 years ago. Was that the right decision? I would not have allowed that if I was on the board 15 years ago, and I just don't feel comfortable approving what I consider as strictly commercial development in a residential neighborhood, So with that, any other comments, just questions for the board? If not, this is a recommendation, Claudia and Carl. The council will have to make the final determination on this, but I will open it up for further discussion or comments. If not, entertain a motion.
I just want to say that I empathize with the residents and agree with you, John, about, you know, the commercialness of the property. And I have personal knowledge of the daycare that is currently in operation, and there is a lot of traffic. So, you know, I agree with what you had said as well. That's it.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other?
Yeah, I'd like to add that I appreciate your guys' endeavor as far as all you can ask, do is ask. And the worst that can happen is you get a no. But that being said, I mean, more appropriate location, I would say, for daycare center, I think would be beneficial. But that being said, we're just doing a recommendation, John.
It is a recommendation, so you got three choices of a recommendation. It could be favorable, unfavorable, or no recommendation. So those are the three recommendations that are allowed, and please reference the finding of facts that you will find on page 4.
All right, at this time, I'd like to make a motion for an unfavorable recommendation to the town council that the established maintenance or operation of the special exception will be detrimental or to endanger the public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare, that the special exception will be injurious to the use and enjoyment of other property in the immediate vicinity for the purpose already permitted, nor substantially diminish and impair property value within the neighborhood, that the establishment of the special exception will impede the normal and orderly development and improvement of the surrounding property for uses permitted in the district. Adequate measures will be taken to provide ingress, egress, so designated as to minimize traffic congestion in the public streets, and that adequate utilities, access road, drainage, and or necessary facilities will be provided. That adequate measure will not, in all other aspects, conform to the applicable regulations of the zoning district in which it is located, and that the special exception shall be required to comply with reasonable time limitations on the commencement and duration of special exception, as well as holder of rights to same.
I have an unfavorable recommendation. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, can I have a roll call, please?
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Woland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes. Unfavorable recommendation will be made to the town council. Thank you.
Thank you.
Just for some housekeeping, you can stay and be entertained for the rest of the meeting, or you could go. Not that I want you to go, but I'm just saying.
But Monday Night Football is
Monday
on.
Night Football, but we got a couple more items, so I apologize. I could, once your issue's done, you can go, so. We won't sign it. You can go. You'll get the variance signature from town hall tomorrow.
If you want to come in
I
tomorrow.
apologize. I should have said something sooner,
Unless
so.
you guys wanna hang out,
Again, you can hang out. We got 5 more items on there.
You
four
can hang
more
out, we'll
items,
talk
so.
pool party?
Yeah. Well, I don't think I'm invited. John is not
we won't worry
invited.
about this guy. I'm in.
Yeah, I'm not invited. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, John, can I ask a question? Do I need to come to town hall tomorrow to sign anything?
Your secretary, right?
Right.
Yeah, you might. Yeah.
Just let me
I'll
know
have-
at the end of the meeting. Not a problem. I'll come in the morning.
Sergio double check with that.
Yeah, we'll double check. I know, Chairman, yeah, you do have to sign. So yes,
Okay, then I'll be there in the morning.
all right.
Okay.
All right, that cleared out the room. All right, next, we have a development variance to allow a 4x9 electronic message sign at Lake Central Plaza, 8237 Wicker Avenue, zoned C2. Renee Ignatz to the table, please.
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm
Good.
Renee Ignatz. I'm representing Lake Central Plaza, located at 8237 Wicker Avenue, well, 8235 to 8282 Wicker Avenue in St. John. We are seeking a variance for a 4x9 digital message board installation at the corner of Wicker Avenue and 82nd Lane. Currently, what we have is the picture up here with 2 message boards underneath our main Lake Central Plaza name. What we propose to do is to remove both of those kind of outdated signs and install one 4x9 digital message center that would service the 30 tenants that we have in the building. It will also bring an updated look to the center as well. Our current tenants are struggling during this time. They're St. John local mom and pop businesses, and they're experiencing hardship because they don't have exposure directly on Route 41. They could greatly benefit by being able to advertise their product or service in that highly visible location. We will not have any flashing or scrolling messages. We will hold all messages for at least 10 seconds. I had included a document that talked about the safety of the EMC message centers and the SBA's report on how beneficial this is for small businesses in order to get their message out there.
All right, thank you. The board, questions, comments?
I forgot to introduce Ray from Affordable Signs.
Ray, how are you?
He's the man behind the machine.
Renee, if you said this, I apologize. The 2 existing signs, what are their dimensions?
4x9 each.
They're both 4x9?
4x9s, and one will be removed, and only one 4x9 will
Okay.
exist as an EMC.
Question for you. I think they do this in the city of Crown Point. When there is like an Amber Alert or Silver Alert or any public emergency, would there be consideration by your organization to flash that on? I can't say flash.
Right. We would put it up on the message center, no problem.
Would you be willing to do
Absolutely.
that?
Yes.
Adam, would you have to make that a contingency? How would you, I mean, I don't want to, if there's an Amber Alert and they miss it, I don't want to ding them for it, but is it just a verbal commitment good enough? I mean,
Well,
I just know Crown Point does it, and I thought it's a great idea, you know, as these digital boards come up.
You can make it a condition of the, approval if that's the way this is going.
So
Yeah, but if they miss one, how do you?
yeah, my concern is
It's going
that
to be
if,
very difficult to.
That's me, I don't know.
And
that
it's
if you can
to enforce
do it.
that, yeah, okay.
We just
No, no.
gotta take your word for it, I would
Okay.
think.
yeah,
Like
because
10
my
points
concern
from
is
them.
if I'm not there
Yeah.
at the time.
I get you, I
Right.
get you.
Every time it's not up there, I'm not getting a smoothie.
Your consideration on that, I just, when Crown Point told me they did that, I thought that was a pretty nice.
Yeah, I
it's a
have
great
no
idea.
issue
It's a great touch.
whatsoever doing that,
So-
as long as it's possible.
Okay. Well, the sign guy, he should know. He should be able to pop that right up there.
Watchfire has been trying to figure out.
Could you speak into the microphone, please?
Sorry, put you on the hot seat.
Raymond Thomas, Vice President of Affordable Signs at 534 Conkey Street in Hammond. Watchfire has been trying to design a system where it would automatically go to all watchfires. They have not done it yet, but I think with the new, I think it is the, I forget the new aerial system that they have, but 5G, I think, is going to be a part of that where they may be able to do that in the future. I don't know if Crown Point actually does it, but we agree in Maryville when we do our variances that we will, in all businesses, will do that. But I don't think they're there yet. I didn't know Crown Point was actually doing it.
Okay,
So, but I've never seen anybody would disagree with doing that.
okay. No, that's, I was talking to their planner one day, and I just thought it was a great idea. And
I think
when
it's a
it,
great idea.
when the session came up. Any issues with the light, like the brightness of this that we need to be concerned with traffic or our existing ordinance for sign? I didn't see anything that would be hint against what our current lighting situation is.
It's an automatic adjustment, so if they leave it on automatic adjustment according to day and night, it's actually brighter during the day. At nighttime, it doesn't need to be as bright. It adjusts actually down, which is, because of night, it's easy to see. But it's an automatic adjustment on there for the brightness.
And just for some of the board members, historical knowledge that I'll give you, in the past, we have put contingencies, and again, that's a past, this is a new board. In the past, we did, she's saying, they will not do flashing or scrolling, so they've already hit that contingency. And we just didn't want things flipping over so quickly, so they're doing 10 seconds, which is pretty, like, it's standard, I believe.
Well, actually, that's what state requires on the billboards on the expressways.
Okay, and that's a good standard to start
I
to
think
set.
so.
So, okay, so that's great.
We have a dimension sign, kind of a rule of thumb that we held as far as dimension.
See, on this one, they're taking 2 4x9s
Right,
out and
no,
put one
right.
4x9, so you know, they're actually reducing their signage by, but
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, what Lake Central, right across the street, their sign's gotta be close to this.
I did the Dairy Queen, which is 4x8, hands-on car wash.
Okay.
Yeah, I
That's,
did all
that
those.
Ziggy's has got to be huge too.
And those are representing only one business. We
Yeah.
have 30 to represent.
And all of those, excuse me, I'm sorry, all those signs other than Lake Central are much smaller.
Sorry.
All those signs are much smaller signs in structure compared to this one. Anything small and the speed that you're driving by and that size of a sign, it just would not look right.
And
Or
this will
even
be
possibly work.
And this will be color.
Yes.
Yes, full color.
Very high quality.
Okay. In the past, there's been a lot of discussion, previous board, monotoned.
Monochromatic.
Yeah, thank you, versus color. I sort of like to see my cheese on my cheeseburger be, that color. So, but just for your your knowledge on how it's been done in the past, doesn't mean it has to be, I use the word precedent, but we've done different things, so. All right, if there's no more questions or,
So those should be good.
so yeah, they're fine then, right?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you're under what our maximum sign allowance is, so that part's not a problem.
Yeah, these guys. So if there's no other questions or comments from the board? Okay, you guys want to take a seat? I got to open it up to public hearing. At this time, I'm going to open up public hearing for a sign variance for 8237 Wicker Avenue at St. John, Section E2 of the ordinance of 1483 for digital display. Any comment from, so public hearing is now open. Any comments from the public? Seeing no comment from the public, call it again. Any public comment? Last, 1, 2, 3, final public comment. Public hearing closed. Coming back up. Hearing no public comments, there's nothing really for you to address unless you have any final comments you want to make. Hearing none. Questions, comments? Nancy, anything from your end?
No, I'm good.
All right, so they actually, in their finding of facts, so Adam, should we include as a contingency any flashing, scrolling, 10 seconds? They already put it as a term that they're going to do. What would you recommend as we make a motion?
So it's the pleasure of the board.
Okay.
The board wants to impose conditions that were recited. I think it should be made as part of any motion or specifically included in the findings of fact. So that's up to the board. But
Okay.
if the board is inclined to impose those conditions, then yes, it should be made part of the motion.
Okay. Just for the board's pleasure, I mean, I like the 10-second rule. We're following a state statute. It will make it clear, and it makes it less decision for us to do in the future, right? So, I don't want to say precedence because that's, every variance is unique, but it sort of gives us a guideline. And then the flashing and scrolling, if they're willing to oblige by that, I think we should at least consider adding that as well. So, but again, it's a pleasure of the board, and hear what you guys have to say.
I'll make my motion.
You can make your motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Can you reference the finding of fact on page 2?
Oh, I don't need a second, okay. The approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or the general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. And as far as added condition, it's per the request, Lake Central Plaza will not have any flashing or scrolling messages and will hold all messages for at least 10 seconds.
Awesome. They have a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
I'll second it.
We'll give that one to Nancy.
Yeah,
We'll give that one to Nancy. All right, discussion from the board. Renee, appreciate any opportunity for you to use Amber, Silver Alert, public emergencies, and I'll have to leave that at your discretion on what is considered a public
Right.
emergency. But if you could use that on your board, that would be greatly
Community
appreciated.
messages we can add, so.
Okay.
St. John News.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes?
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes, motion for sign approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good night.
Take care.
All right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I know, this is a big one. We're gonna skip eat. No, I'm kidding. I heard him earlier saying I'm gonna order pizza. Doug's like, I got two easy ones. Come on, guys.
Pizza sounds pretty good.
Yeah, no. Next on the agenda, we have a development variance from St. John Municipal Code 2477, which is bicycle parking. We have 24376, which is parcel coverage. 24376, which is, wait, that's parcel coverage. No, that's parcel coverage. C is 376C is setback at north of building. Oh, man, 24385A, 385A, where's that one?
That's refuse area, Ken.
That's refuse, thank you. 24516, which is screening at the east and north end, wow. 24519C, which is setback at east for landscaping. So we have all of those for the screening on right 231 overlay district at 10815 Park Place, Zone P2, PUD Highway, Commercial Plan Unit Development. Jeff? How
Good
are you,
evening,
sir?
everybody.
So Jeff, if you can give your name and address, and then if you could methodically go through each one of these to explain the variance request.
Absolutely. I do have a presentation. Does this HDMI actually plug in, and would it display?
Not there.
All the way over there? Oh, man.
You can use the microphone over
Jeff,
there.
did you do name and address? I'm sorry.
Jeff Kilberg. I'm with Apex Design Build, representing Dr. Emily Smythe.
Thank you, sir.
You could list the address as 10815 Park Place.
Okay, thank you.
This guy came prepared.
All right. So I just want to give a quick overview of the property location. Unfortunately, if you feed in 10815, it will come up at a improper location in the north section of the gates of St. John. This is specifically the location we're referring to. It's lot 17, and it's zoned C2 PUD. These are a few renderings, or a couple renderings we put together of this future building. This is a fully masonry clad building. Previously, we had approached potentially with a siding coverage on it, and the client has opted to go to a full masonry product. Again, just a couple of three-dimensional views to get a better look at it. And again, just some elevations front and rear of the building. And this would be to the west and east side of the building. Of particular notice on this page, we also do have elevations of the refuse enclosure, similar to the neighbor to the south, which is also a dental practice. They do have a masonry refuse enclosure, and we would aim to provide something similar to that, clad with the same matching brick to the building. So just a quick overview here of the site plan. At the north side of the property, that's regarding the setback, we do have screening for things like the transformer, future generator location, as well as screening to the back door that will also cover the condensers. We have spaced out landscaping, which meets the St. John code for landscaping. And the idea is to make this look as natural as possible and avoid a 6-foot tall privacy fence. At the front side, or
That's the setback. It's a commercial district. It requires a privacy fence because there's the zoning adjacent to it is commercial. So instead of doing the privacy fence, he's looking for a landscaping area.
that's correct. At the front side, which I'll call Park Place, part of the reason that we have a basically encroachment of landscaping setback at the east is, per the codes of St. John, parking cannot be located in the front of the building. And so we've had to create an L-shaped parking lot that shifts the parking lot into the setback for landscaping at the east side. We have a nice adequate front green space with landscaping and a future monument sign. The refuse enclosure is at a convenient location here for easy access. Part of the variances is relating to the canopy over the refuse enclosure. Given that this is an oral surgeon, there will be quite a few staff members which would park at the northeast side. And we want the garbage men, whoever they may be, to come in and be able to access that dumpster very easily and quickly and get out of the space. Unfortunately, that canopy kind of lends a hand to reduce the efficiency of getting in and out of the parking lot. Let me jump to the next page. It gives a little better breakdown. So bicycle parking, that's chapter 24, section 377. Given this is an oral surgery practice, patients typically would not be arriving on bicycles, and they will most definitely or most often require some sort of assistance when leaving, simply due to the nature of oral surgery procedures. Parcel coverage, chapter 24, that's section 376G. Due to this platted lot is already platted at a smidge over 3/4 of an acre. The parking lot, as well as the building requirements per the doctor, falls just under the threshold of 65%. We've noticed that the 231 overlap district generally has larger lots, and this one is one of the smaller lots. So we're seeking a variance for the 3% parcel coverage difference. As mentioned on the refuse area canopy, that's chapter 24, section 385A1. It's a bit unsightly to have a canopy over the refuse area. And as we mentioned, masonry cladded refuse would be our preference here. Also makes coordinating the entry for the garbage trucks more difficult, as mentioned. Setback to the north of the building, that's chapter 24, section 376C. The parking requirements for the practice and the space desired within the practice causes a building to encroach the north setback. Currently, it's R2 PUD to the north. There is a private drive that also borders to the north, or a future private drive. There's curb cuts for it currently. It does go to the east, which will eventually be a church from our understanding.
And Jeff, how far does it set back into the encroachment again?
I'd have to go back to the,
It's two,
I want to say we are around 2 feet offhand, but I'd have to go back to the site plan to review.
yeah, 2 feet, okay.
Obviously, with future development to the east, this will become a more of a primary access point I know, John, we had spoken previously in a plan commission meeting about access onto that road. I think, you know, we would all be open to it. It would just be dependent on the owner of the property there.
Thank you.
Setback at the east for landscaping, as mentioned, the positioning of the parking lot doesn't allow for us to move it to the front per St. John codes. So we've shifted the parking lot to the rear. Unfortunately, it encroaches on that east setback for landscaping. But we want to promote functionality. We want to promote safety for Dr. Smythe's practice. So we don't really look at this as a huge issue from that standpoint. The setback at the north for landscaping, that's Chapter 24, Section 519C2, same as the east. Much like the positioning of the parking lot, the north facade of the building, requirements for parking lot function dictate the position of the landscaping at the north. It does encroach upon current setbacks, but future rezoning, if it did get rezoned at any certain point, could render this setback as unneeded. And the last item would be the screening at the north and the east. That would be bordering the R2 PUD sections. That's Chapter 24, Section 516E2. Currently in St. John codes for the 231 overlay district, it reads as a privacy fence and or screening. It's a bit unsightly considering most of the neighboring properties do not have a screening of any sort like that. We would love to keep it to a natural screening product, like just a landscaping buffer as we show it on the site plan. We would obviously screen the more unsightly elements, being like a utility transformer, generator, condensers, things like that. It definitely will look more natural and more consistent with the surrounding properties. Just a quick overview of the neighboring properties to the east and also to the north. Large one being the church. And I just grabbed a few pictures here of some of the neighboring properties. St. John Dental Group, which used to be the bank, has a refuse enclosure that's masonry with a limestone bottom. The next door facility, which is to the west, more like elderly care, they have various locations. Number one, screening HVAC systems, but also have refuse areas of similar style. Appears to be a stucco or drive-it style of material. And then you can see to the right, St. John Dental Group has the more natural landscaping buffer that is more consistent across the gates of St. John. This is the new church, as everyone probably is well aware, to the two lots to the north of Dr. Smythe's. They have a composition on the exterior of the building, including a stucco material, masonry, as well as a lap siding. You can see that the masonry product is complementary to the building, and we would be achieving a similar style, obviously without the stucco and the lap siding. All right, so that's all I got.
So, I'll get Jeff some time. So any questions or comments for Jeff regarding these? And Adam, I would imagine it'd be appropriate to take each individual one separately.
Well, you certainly can. That would be the most thorough and would, obviously cover all of the requests individually because, but if yes, I would probably recommend that be done.
I'm sorry, Jeff, if you can come back. Okay. Questions or comments for the board before I open it up to public hearing? Jeff, go ahead. Just a couple things. It would be nice to know the exact setbacks because we'll want to, I don't know if you can get those in time, so we can know, like, I know the setback for the landscaping is supposed to be 15 feet, I believe, and if you know that number, you're 3 feet into it. Just as you know, with that one development for the structure, we gave maximum distance. Do you have those figures that you can provide us, that your setback is now gonna be 12 feet, just so that, because if we give you a variance from the 15-yard setback, and we don't have that low-end number, it would allow you to take it all the way to the property line, so,
Let me grab a couple pieces of paper.
okay. So, because I think if I recall correctly, the setback to the north is, you want to take it down to 8 feet versus 10.
So currently to the north of the building, we have 15 feet from the lot line to the building. And that is to the building, but clearly the variance was for the landscaping that encroached within that setback. The parking lot at the north side,
So do you know what that encroachment,
and the parking lot at the north side there is at 9 foot 3 1/4 inches off of that property line.
so I think it's got to be 15? If I'm- God. Next to commercial zoning district or development, 15 feet. Buffer yard landscape requirements.
For the east side, that parking lot setback, so typically 45 feet is the requirement. We're at 23 foot 11 inches where the parking lot encroaches into that setback area. And that's usually the distance between landscaping and the parking lot start or end, however you want to look at it.
Okay, so let's just go through this one step at a time. I'm sorry, guys, for pounding on. So we got the bicycle, we got the refuge, we got the the parcel coverage of 62%, because we'll want to keep that minimum number of 62% versus a 65 allowed.
Mhm.
We got the refuse area, so now we got the setback at the north of building. So that is supposed to be chapter 24, section 376. I just want to make sure we got everything buttoned up, 376. I thought I had this memorized, but. C, the minimum side and rear yard adjacent to residential zone shall be 45 feet. So it should be 45 feet, and adjacent to all others shall be 15 feet. So where you are,
We're at 15 feet.
so why are we having a rear yard if you're at,
Depends on how you want to look at the property. Technically, if you look at it, property from straight on, the rear of the building would be maybe the side.
oh, your address is not 231, you're coming off Park Place.
Yep. The other caveat to this is that private driveway is included in the R2 PUD to the north. Technically, though, the actual development is occurring north of that private driveway. So I don't know if you include that in your setback, or if that private driveway, being that it leads to a future church, is then the official setback location.
Where's Sergio when you need him?
Can we do like phone a friend?
All right, let's hold on to the side. So setback, let's hold on for that one for a second. The setback to the north of the building. Setback at east for landscaping. That's 15.9. Because yeah, 15.9 C2.
And I don't see a dimension line for the landscaping.
Side and rear landscaping and maintained yard shall be provided, including a solid visual buffer next to a commercial zoning district or development, 15 feet. And where you're within that 15 feet?
Yes.
But I'm just trying to figure out what the east of the building is.
So the east of the building is 23 foot 11 to the parking curb. and we would fall, I wish we had a dimension line here, but it looks somewhere in the proximity of 7 to 10 feet from the setback from the property line.
Landscaping, okay, you're supposed to be 15 feet away, and you're saying you're gonna be 7,
It looks to be about 7 to 10 feet, just based on the 23-foot 11 to the parking.
and then setback for the north, so we're saying the north of the building, along the private drive, you're again supposed to be 15 feet, and you are
The building's at 15 feet.
building to 15 feet, so you're
Landscaping looks like it's
right on it.
Yeah, landscaping is very close.
All right. And you don't have specific dimensions on how far that landscaping is, just,
That's correct. If I were again to go off the 15 feet, I would say proximity of 3 to 5 feet off of that property line.
okay. And then let's go back to setback and north of building. So setback from north of building, section 376C. Now, this is the building itself, right? Setback at north of building. 376 2C. Maximum here should be, in all those zones, should be 15 feet. And what is your distance off there, 15?
We do have 15 feet to the
Yeah,
building.
15, so that's why, no, he's north of the
On the
building.
north.
Minimum side and rear yard adjacent to any residential use. Oh, it's residential, it's a private drive.
Yes, it's currently zoned R2
Private
PUD.
drive, so it's 45 feet,
45, that's what I was gonna say.
but he's only 15
Mhm.
because the private drive leads to that. North is R2 PUD, so
Mhm.
he's supposed to be 45 feet, not the 15 he's at, which meets our commercial development. I think we got it. All right. Questions, comments? Before I open up the public hearing. So we can never guarantee this is gonna be a dentist facility or oral surgeon forever, right? We can't.
Well, I would,
One of my concerns is bicycle. I understand right now you're saying that no patient, employee will ever bike there. I sort of understand that, I get it. But in 5 years, if a new business comes in and we gave a variance because they don't have to put a bike rack and it might be a bike shop. Now, they could add it, of course, at their own. I'm always afraid, we don't have any requirements on how many bike loops you need. You could actually just put in one in the corner somewhere and be good. So that's why the bike parking, I think you could find space on that property just for one loop. So guys, just my personal opinion, it's simple. It's one loop, find a spot somewhere, and I just hate to give a variance and then no one ever has to put a bike spot there. So that's just mine on that one. Parcel coverage, small lot, refuge, I don't think there's any other refuge that has a canopy along that area. I think we got the setback on the north building. It's because it's a private drive. He's got to be 45. And then the landscaping. Jeff, the only thing, I would love to have a solid number, just to have a minimum for this. Because I'm always afraid if we give you a variance and we don't have a low-end minimum number, you're allowed to move that line as far. So if there's numbers you feel comfortable putting down here, because I just don't want to give you a variance and then you can go all the way to the line. We got to have some sort of control, I think, on that. And then the screening, the last one is just a fence. He wants to put landscaping.
I'm having trouble.
I'm talking too much, sorry. So just, those are my 2 cents. But if you could, while we go through public hearing, maybe give us numbers that you feel comfortable with. But I don't feel comfortable just doing it and just giving you a variance without having some sort of controls on it.
I'll get you some numbers here in a
Okay,
second.
thank you. All right, with that, I'm gonna open up the public hearing for, he has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 variances at 10815 Park Place in St. John. Public hearing is now open. Is there anyone that has any public comment? Again, anyone having public comment going twice? Anyone having public comment going third time? Hearing no public comment. I don't think we received anything via online. Public hearing is now closed. All right. Jeff, while you go work on that, we're going to work through some of these for you. Per recommendation of our attorney, it might be good just to do each individual one separately. So let's start with the bicycle parking. This is Chapter 24, Section 377. They are looking to not have to install any parking facilities for this location. Where's our, looking for our finding of facts.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I don't think there's one in the packet for this.
Okay, so we'll go to a different one. So I will entertain a motion regarding the bicycle parking, Chapter 24, Section 377. What is the pleasure of the board?
Well, I kind of agree with what you said. I don't think it's a big deal to put something there, and it does cover future use. So
Okay.
in that particular one, I'm going to do a motion to not approve.
So I got a motion to deny the, and can you do the finding of facts for me?
I believe the approval will be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, and the general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the adjacent area of the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. A strict adaptation of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties of the use of the property.
Mr.
Will
Chairman,
not.
I believe those findings have been made to support the variance, and I don't think that's the motion.
No, the
Mr.
first
Chair.
one I said will not. The second two, I don't think the word is applicable. So I said the approval will be injurious. Don't I just have to say one?
Oh, I understand. So you're,
I don't disagree with the other two. It's the first one that I'm
I
saying.
understand. So your
My point.
finding in number one is, I understand, I think what your position is. That your findings are two.
So
for
as
two
long
and
as my
three.
findings, one of them, I'm good, right? With the,
I understand.
All right, I have a motion, understanding the finding of facts. Is there a second?
I second.
There's a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, we have a motion to deny. Roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
yes.
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes, motion for bicycle parking has been denied. Next, let's do parcel coverage. Jeff, I'm going with the 62%.
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, I believe, again, let me find section 376. I believe that the ordinance provides for 376G provides for a maximum parcel coverage. So I believe the variance is on the upper side of the limit versus the lower side. So I think the applicant has indicated that 68% of the lot is being covered for purposes of coverage and density. Am I missing something, or is that not correct?
So, and again, I don't have the code in front of me right now to reference back to. Our understanding is that it is similar to what you're saying. I think there's a 65% threshold. I do know offhand.
It is, and I can read it. It says, it's section G, maximum parcel coverage and density. Subsection 1, maximum parcel coverage shall be 65% of any parcel as approved in a development plan.
So he's over by 3%.
I think what he's saying is he's going over that.
He's going 68%. and
So-
not-
Correct.
Gotcha.
Not 62%.
Because he wouldn't need a variance for 62. He would need a variance for 68%. So you're 3%
So,
over.
technically, I'm looking at the site plan here. The site plan has the percentages on it. So there's hard surface area, which is 48%, green space yard, which is 38%, and building, which is 14%. Based on how the equation works out, because it's based on lot size, and the lot size directly reflects then the ratio, in this case, of parking coverage, or parcel coverage, I should say, it equates to 62%.
You should be fine.
Yeah. So Sergio initially had given us feedback on it, saying that we needed to file a variance, and so that's something that we carried through from, I mean, we've been talking to Sergio for 4 months, roughly.
So that's not even a variance, then.
I would just hate for you to walk away and you now need to come back in a month for a variance. That's what I'm trying to get to, Jeff. I mean, I'm trying to avoid that because I
Understand.
know you want to try to get something done. So, understanding the numbers, you know, my Catholic school math, 48 and 14 is 62. That is under 65% coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Because the rest is landscaping, you said, right?
That's correct.
38%.
Yep.
I don't know what to give you a variance for.
I would say there's no variance in that case, the way that reads.
I would just,
I would agree.
I agree with you.
That's how I
Okay.
read the ordinance.
don't shoot us if Sergio calls and says, what were you guys thinking? You guys needed this. So, all right, so we're gonna move past that one.
Okay.
All right. Refuse area canopy, chapter 24, section 385A1. This requires a canopy over a dumpster. What is the questions or comments from the board? I'll tell you, I've driven out there, I haven't seen another canopy in that
No, I have
district.
to make a motion to approve that one.
Motion to approve the variance, referencing finding of fact, please.
The approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, and general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. That the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I second it.
I have a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion. Can I get a motion? Or a roll call, please? I'm sorry.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Schuren,
Yes?
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes. Next on the agenda, we have a variance for setback of north of building, chapter 24, section 36C. Since it's a private drive in an what is it? It is R2 PUD, it's residential. He requires 45. He is showing 15 here. Is there any discussion for the board? If I'm doing my...
And that's the road you said is going to be to a future church?
That's correct. Church currently owns that entire property.
So at some point, they'll have to go in for a zoning change to change it from residential to build their church?
I believe churches are allowed
The church are allowed?
I believe our churches are allowed in residential zoning.
I do believe that's correct as well.
Just almost hard to put the residential standard when I consider that more of a commercial use. You know, that 45 feet would seem a little aggressive to have to stay off a drive into a church.
And unfortunately, just given the site size and then it's already been platted, doesn't give a lot of flexibility. You'd have to have an extremely small building and parking lot.
If you tried to do 45, you'd destroy everything you have.
Mhm.
I do agree with John, though, we'd like some kind of tie-ins here to the landscaping to the property line, as far as, distances or,
And I do have those distances.
that's all I have.
Well, the minimum side, so the minimum side yard, it just means the distance of his, it doesn't have anything to do with landscaping. It just means, since it's R2 where the 230 is, that private drive, he's supposed to have 45 feet off of his property line,
Yes.
his building.
No, I understand.
Okay. So this one, I don't think you would require, because he's going down to 15 instead of
And
45.
there's no requirement to the north for the distance of landscaping needs to be off the property line?
Yeah, I thought that's what the issue was.
That would be section 24. This does setback
Oh, I'm just,
to the north
I'm
of the
just
building.
confusing my two deals here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so the second to the bottom one is
Okay.
setback for north for landscaping.
Okay, so this is just the building itself.
This is just the building itself has to be set back. It's supposed to be 45 feet, it would be 15. All right. Discussion, comments? Motion? Finding of facts? Adam, are we addressing that correctly from your understanding of setback? It's not the landscaping, it's a building itself because it's, okay. No, I thought I had this all understood, but then, you know, between Thursday and now, it all just blew up at me, so I just want to make sure we're doing it right.
If this were a mirror image, would that have remedied that?
What's that?
Like if just this was flip-flop, like if the building was on that side?
The only problem you'd run into is you'd have that private drive curb cut very near where the entrance into the parking lot would be.
Okay.
And to add just the other aspect of it, from desirability of building location, generally you want the business to be closer to the street to give that accessibility. And also if you're coming in, turning on Park Place and going north, you're going to see that building pretty quickly at that point.
Comments, concerns?
I mean, the way it stands, and if that road goes into what will be a church, I think 45 feet is a very big number. I mean, my only concern is if the church sells and now this is the backyards, 40, 15 feet is a very small number. So, Can
you get the GIS up?
Yeah, can you pull up a Google? Yeah, because what's north of the drive?
It may only be where that strip of road, and so you'll never be able to put a house back there.
Okay, that's what, yeah, because that made me feel more comfortable, because, if that's eventually gonna be a house or backyard, I think that's tight, but if that's a road going up to the church, I think like 45 feet.
Church or whatever
seems-
develops.
Yeah, seems crazy.
No, you're right. I mean, what if something else comes in
Yeah,
there and we just,
And then it's too tight.
good point.
Just a little south. Yeah. That'll only ever be a road right there.
Which one? This here?
Right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, this is the land in question.
That's a property.
So they'll only ever be able to develop right here, because that's going to be another development,
Commercial?
residential.
You said there's a road here?
Yeah, so that'll always have to be a road to this property.
Oh, so no matter what, that's going to be a road that goes through?
Yeah.
Okay. I see, okay, I see that, okay.
What is that
So
zone?
there's no way this could be a bank of a house or?
No.
No, okay. That makes me feel better.
Well, it's on our thing. To the east is, but to the east is, well,
You can see it's already stubbed out like it was going to be a road.
Yeah.
but this could be, to the east, that could be residential. But it would
What's
still
this
be a road. Well, so to the east on our plan, it says R2 PUD. Jason, go to the
What's
one
this one
lot
here?
just directly east of our property.
That little deck.
Yeah, the little-
Right there. I think it's BLB. Yep. BLB. It's the developer, John Locke.
It doesn't say it, but it's a leftover parcel from the original platting. He still needs to clean up his parcel before he can finalize the subdivision.
Okay. So that would be probably a commercial piece as well, or could be part of this residential development?
I believe the 231 overlay district is 600 feet north and south of that, so it's going to be commercial 600 feet north and south,
Okay.
which I believe extends to about
Oh, so that's
here.
gotta go into the two, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at, so this will be all commercial, I'm not worried about a house being up on top of the building, basically. There's no way that can be the case. Okay. Well, given that, I will make a motion to approve the setback for the north of the building. I believe approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in the practical difficulties of the use of the property.
Can you make your motion 15 feet? You will not exceed,
And I will add as contingency that it will not exceed 15.
or will not, will be less,
Will be less than 15 feet.
thank you. I have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Second discussion? Great thought on that one. I would never have thought to ask like about that road changing, so that was great discussion, so thank you. Good job, good job. All right, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Woolen,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes, motion to approve variance at 15 feet, or setback at 15 feet is approved. Setback for east, I'm gonna, and would these be okay potentially to do to get, well, it depends on the footage. So, guys, based on the, it's, section 519C2, and it says, next to undeveloped residential zoning needs to be 30 feet. Since the north is that private drive, and the east is R2 PUD, you're
Currently.
supposed to have 30 feet. Next to undeveloped, 30 feet of landscaping. A landscape and maintained yard shall be provided. The width shall be as followed. Next to undeveloped residential zoning district, 30 feet. So he currently has 15 to the north, and what do you have to the east? You have,
You're talking specifically about landscaping, correct?
that is just landscaping. This is not the screening. The screening, this is,
It's less than 15.
Yep. So let me just get a measurement to center of the landscaping buffer that you see with the trees. That is 9 foot 1 inches to
From
the
the-
center point from the property line.
but I think landscaping means a 15-foot landscape or trees, so I think it would be from the parking lot to the, it would be that whole area that's gonna be grass and tree, not
So-
just from the tree. So north of the building, you have 15 feet of landscaping, you have lawn,
Yep.
trees, you're supposed to have 30,
So that's 23 feet 11 inches to the curb line.
23 feet. So he is reducing 15 to the north, 6.5 feet to the
Roughly,
east,
yes.
23 and a half. So yeah, because it's a residential, he needs 30 feet, and he has less than that, so.
And just to
that-
clarify, it's 23 feet 11, not 23 and a half.
2311. Okay. So if we say 6 feet,
And that's if this is residential, but we think that's going to be commercial, right? So
but since it's
what's-
currently zoned residential,
Yeah, I'm just trying to, is there a rule, commercial to commercial, next to commercial?
if it's next to a commercial zoning or development, 15 feet,
Which that he would have if this was commercial.
yes. And he would have it to the north,
Dual zoning.
Okay.
and he would have,
30.
yeah. And then the last one is,
Yeah, he's gonna put houses.
the screening is a fence. You're required to have a fence in the commercial district.
If it butts up to a residential district.
He's supposed to have, so not only landscaping, he's supposed to have a 6 or 5 or 7 foot privacy fence.
And then lieu over doing the screening.
Right, so. All right, so if we do setback to the east, chapter variance, he's supposed to have 30, he has 24. I'll say 24 here, 23
1
and
inch
11.
under 24.
You guys wanted 23 and 11. And setback to the north, he's supposed to have 30, he has 15. So if we just make sure we include those numbers in the variance or the finding of facts, that would be great.
Would you say the setbacks were for the landscaping?
So since these are residential to the north and to the east, it's R2 PUD to the north and R2 PUD to the east. He's supposed to have 30 feet of, next to an undeveloped residential zoning district, 30 feet of side and rear yard landscape. So to the north, and if it was next to a commercial zoning district, he would only need 15.
Right,
So to the north, he has only 15.
right.
And to the east, he has 23 and 11 inches. So he's 6 feet short per zoning now, on the east side, and he's 15 feet short to
So
the
we're
north.
gonna hold the 2311.
We could say 20, I'm fine, oh, well, 2311, that's what he's stating. Let's use 2311. I don't think anyone's gonna go out there with him, but.
Just shoot it in.
And then, just for clarification, then the last one, because he's in a commercial district abutting zoning, he's also supposed to have a privacy fence. So the screening, the one on the north and east, is because he is asking not to put up a, is it 5 or 7?
6 feet.
6 feet. God, 5 and 7, I'm right in the middle. 6 feet privacy fence, so that's that one.
All right, and that, can we do that all in one? Huh?
Why don't we do it separately, because it's different numbers? It's 15 feet, Adam. If we did 15 feet to the north and 2311 to the east in one motion, if we can do do you think we can do the setbacks for the east, north, and the screening on the northeast all in one? Or would you still like us to do, yeah, let's do all separately. I saw that face. I have seen that face before.
And the just answer is whatever takes the longest.
He's an hourly attorney.
All right, then I make
Doug's like, man, I'm going to be here till tomorrow.
I make a motion to approve the setback at east for landscaping for Chapter 24, Section 519C2, which is, that's the 15 feet.
Yep.
That's- Yeah, to the, no, wait, that's.
His variance will allow him 15 feet set minimum.
For this is for the east, so that would be.
Oh, for the
20
east.
23 feet 11.
Inches, yep.
That approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the adjacent area to the property included in the variance will not be affected in substantially adverse manner. That the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. And
So-
contingency being that it will be 23 feet 11 inches.
It will be no less than 23,
No
yep.
less than.
So I have a motion to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Wooland,
Yes,
John Kennedy.
Yes. All right, next on the docket, setback for north of landscaping, minimum of 15 feet.
I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the setback at the north for the landscaping, Chapter 24, Section 519C2, being the 15 feet setback to the north. That the approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property included in the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. That the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property. And again, the contingency being that it will not be less than 15 feet.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
I got a second. Discussion? Hearing no discussion, roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Wooland,
yes,
John Kennedy.
Yes, motion to approve. And then the final one is due to the fact that this is a commercial development along adjacent to residential property, he is required to have a 6-foot privacy fence installed. And he is asking for a variance on the north and east side, a variance not to put in that privacy fence. 516E2, let me just make sure, E516E2. So screening shall provide feet no more than, not less than 6, no more than 7 feet height. So it says screening shall be provided on all peripheral lots where the adjacent property has a different land use. An OPEC screen shall be installed and maintained and shall have a total height of not less than 6 feet, no more than 7 feet. Walls, berms, plantings.
You have plantings.
Yeah, but I think it has to be I think from in talking with Sergio, he was under the impression, or how he read it, it needed to be a fence, some sort of privacy fence.
And just a note, the elderly care facility does butt up to residential on its west side. And from my knowledge, there is not a privacy fence there. Unless the homeowners have obviously installed one.
I mean, he is having I mean, these are not, any of these on a berm? I mean, no, these are just plantings.
There's no berms on the property.
Okay.
Make my motion?
Yep.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to approve. I think approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or the general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties of the use of the property.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Second. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran.
Yes.
Nancy Wolland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes. All but one.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Yeah, all you gotta do is put a bike loop on.
I just got to put a bike.
Just
loop,
one?
Just put a bike. I don't think we have a requirement of, well, maybe.
We'll double check.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Put a bike loop in.
It's an oral surgeon, so I think you're gonna need about 10.
I know when I go to oral surgery, I ride my bicycle.
Yeah, but Apex, I used to work for Christopher Burke right next door to you.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I worked right.
small world.
Yeah, I worked pretty much right next door to you for years.
I
worked
see.
for Spaceco, but it was part of Christopher Burke.
Okay. Small world. Thank you again.
Thanks for your time, Jeff. We'll see you in Plan Commission, all right? All right. I think yeah. Yeah, some of them hate me.
No.
Like Doug. We get to hang out with Doug for the, Doug, you're a lone survivor, man. You're up. All right, so we got two of them.
Is he awake?
We got,
I think Doug bills hourly too.
Getting hungry though.
so
Might be a
here
little
we
cranky.
have. Oh, I thought it was 4 inches. Wait, to encroach 1.2 inches into side yard at 9732 tall grass, so an R1 PUD. So it sounds like, well, go ahead, Doug. I'll let you give us the lowdown.
Doug Reddick with DVG, representing Blackburn Builders. Joshua Blackburn is here if we have any specific questions for him. But in a nutshell, we prepared a site plan for Lot 41 in the Preserve, Unit 1. It's at 9732 Tall Grass Trail. The house that we showed for the drawings we were given was 66 feet wide. And at that point, the house was about 1/10 of a foot, which is about an inch, clear of the building line to the north, which is a 25-foot setback because it's a corner lot. So we have a 25-foot building line, and our site plan shows the house to be 25.1 feet from the property line. On the south, there's a 10-foot building line. The site plan shows it to be 10.1 feet from the property line. So the house was just inside the building line to the north and to the south by a little over an inch. When we went to do the foundation survey, the house was a little bit bigger than what was shown on the site plan. So the house was drawn at 66 feet, and we measured it at 66.4 feet. So the house was not exactly what we drew. So talked with Mr. Blackburn, and he was asked by the developer to add a brick ledge. Brick ledges are 0.4 feet. So nobody realized by adding that brick ledge, we just made the house 4 inches wider. So instead of being an inch clear on both sides, we're an inch over in round numbers on both sides. So an oversight, the developer wanted the brick ledge because it's a corner lot. They added a 4-inch brick ledge, but that made the house 4 inches wider. The foundation got 4 inches wider to accommodate the brick ledge. And they centered it still. You know, they used the stakes that we had out there, but instead of being an inch inside the building lines, we're an inch over the building lines because the house grew by 4 inches.
So as of Thursday, I thought you were 4 inches. Now you're only an inch, 1.2
Well,
inches.
4 inches total is what the house grew.
Oh, but on one side, you're.
On both sides, yeah.
Both
So
sides,
2
you're
inches,
one, gotcha.
2 inches on both ends. We were an inch good, now we're an inch over on both sides. And again, it was just something we uncovered when we did the foundation survey. It was not something we were aware of until after the fact. And they had to make a change to the architectural drawings to appease the developer who wanted the brick ledge.
And that will be brick?
It'll be, I believe it'll be brick on the two sides. Stone? on the two sides
Not, then
facing the
they're in
streets.
compliance.
What's that?
If it's not, then they're in compliance.
Well, if it's stone, I mean, there's,
Well, brick or stone, but.
well, stone, you can also do the lick and stick stone, you can also do the fence that stone.
And likewise, in the
Bring you
front
in.
yard, we put the house,
Bring you in.
sorry, Brenna. In the front, we had the house 30 feet back, but it ended up 29.6 because they added that brick ledge to the front. But there we're not in violation because the building line was only 25 feet. So there, the developer asks us to put them 30 feet back, so we do. But in reality, we only need to be 25 to meet the town ordinance. So we're not talking about that one because it's not a violation. So he added a brick ledge on two sides, both sides facing the streets.
So to the north of him, he has the street. To the south of him, he'll have a potential neighbor, right? Am I doing that?
There's an existing residence there, who's, again, he's probably in that range of 8 or 9 feet off the property line himself. But because this is a 100-foot wide lot, the minimum side yard is 10 feet. But in St. John, it's not unusual to have an 8-foot side yard. So he's still close to, he's well above that. But because in this particular subdivision, 100-foot wide lots have a 10-foot side yard setback, which technically exceeds, no, I'm sorry, it is what's required in R1.
Okay. Any questions for Doug? Doug, additional comments before I take it to public hearing? All right, I'm going to open it up to public hearing. Public hearing is now open for 10428 Brookhaven Street for a side yard variance of from 10 feet to 9 feet, 10 inches, 10.8 inch, right? Oh, sorry. 9732 Tall Gas Trail. Thank you for the clarification.
We know where to go now.
Yeah, your house. So 9732 Tall Grass. So public hearing is now open. Anyone from the public? Seeing no one coming up. Question second. Anyone from the public want to comment? Hearing no one else. Third, going. Public hearing is now closed. Bring it back to the board. So this is 1.5 inches, 1.2 inch on both sides.
It's about 1.25 inches.
Both sides?
Yeah.
Okay. I've been on this, Doug, I always ask, has this been an issue with this developer or this builder?
He's a new client of ours, so I would say no.
Okay.
I'm not sure I've seen one.
Usually I would ask, like, is this something that has occurred with this surveyor or this builder on multiple times but it's so minor, it's not a foot or so,
It's an
okay.
oversight, I think, is the best way to explain it.
Gotcha. All right.
Make a motion.
Yep.
All right, I make a motion to approve Section 24-95D3, that approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or general welfare of the community. The use and value of the area adjacent to the property include the variance will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner, that the strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of the property.
Can I be a pain in the ass and ask you to put the minimum side yard setback will be 9 feet?
Yeah,
10
and
inches.
a contingency that
Yeah.
it will maintain a
Yeah,
minimum
wow.
of.
Oh, the wall's up, that's right. Wall's
Yeah,
up, yeah,
it's up,
okay,
so
it's
it's-
set, okay.
But they don't exceed that, but.
In
All
case you
right.
want to knock it down and do it again.
You gotta do it over. We got a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
We got a second, discussion. Hearing no discussion, roll call, please. You guys are.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yes.
Nancy Wooland,
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes, motion to approve. Number G, development of variance. This is to reduce the required 20,000 square foot lot to 17,000 square feet at 8656 Montfort Drive. It's a single-family resident, Josh Nooner, property owner, and Doug Reddick.
Good evening, Doug Reddick with DVG. You are not Josh? Okay, I didn't think so. So I've never met Josh, so he's a new client as well. But this one's actually pretty simple too. So
I want to know how the other units, because I know this is a one-lot subdivision, right?
it's going to be.
But these other ones will have to have that.
Well, they're all built. They're all acreage tracts, so all these parcels were 100 by 200. That's how, but that goes out to the middle of the road.
So when this road is it deeded to the town already? Does the town own it? The town would.
Some of it. Give me a minute to.
Okay,
That's a good
so
question.
I'm sorry, Doug, go ahead.
That's really what's going on. So these parcels were created all the way up and down the block, 100 by 200. Most of the homes were built, but this one was never built on. So I was talking to Sergio, and in order to, well, actually Wednesday night, we're going to be talking about a one-lot subdivision for this, but we wanted to get the variance going first. So I pointed out the fact that if we dedicate 30 feet for the right-of-way, which is what we will be asked to do, the lot will only be 100 by 170, and it will not meet the minimum R1 square footage of 20,000 square feet. So every home on the block is done the same way, except because we have to do the one-lot subdivision, and further north, several lots north, there's a one-lot subdivision that was done some years ago. They did the exact same thing. I can't speak whether they got a variance or not. So what we're trying to do is get ahead of the game when we go for our one-lot subdivision. You can see there how it goes out to the middle of the road, but we will have to dedicate 30 feet, a formal dedication for the right-of-way from Montfort Street. And then we end up with a lot that doesn't meet the R1 zoning. So instead of rezoning to R2, which would be another option, we thought we'd just go for the variance because it's so consistent with everything else that was done in the neighborhood.
Very good. All right.
If you
Because, I mean, the lot's gonna look just like every other lot in that
So
subdivision.
we're gonna
It's-
line
it's
up the
just-
front
It's
of the
all gonna
houses
be lined
and-
up.
yep.
Backyards are, okay.
The 30-yard setback, you said, from building setback?
We have 40-foot setback in the rear, but we're 49, so we exceed that. We have over 20 feet on each side, so we're well over that. And there's a 40-foot front building line, and we're going to be 41, so. And again, to the north, a couple lots, there's a one-lot subdivision. If you want to scroll, it's maybe 3 or 4 lots north, but I can see that one, yeah. Some of them would go to the middle of the road, some of them don't.
Yeah, that's your lot.
Yep.
And then some go to the middle, others don't.
All right.
That one does.
All right, Doug, any more comments? If not, I'm gonna open up the public hearing.
That's all I got.
Public hearing is now open.
Good job, Doug.
Make sure I get the right address. 8656 Montfort Drive, variance for chapter 5.2, section E3A, 24-9, I think it's D1, D1. Lot area not less than 20,000 square feet. He is requesting a 17,000 square feet lot. Public hearing is now open. Going once, going twice. Oh, comment, please state your name and address for the board, please.
Hi, my name's Pete Ladowski. I live on 8746 Montfort Drive.
Where is that, Pete, in the map?
Just south of that, probably 3 lots. I'm going to separate the...
Sorry for calling out of gear.
That's okay. Keep going. Keep going. One more. One more right there.
Okay, thank you.
The question, if you rezone it R1, R2, I think it was brought up.
We're choosing not to do that.
You're choosing not to do rezone it.
So he's gonna stay at an R1, but he's asking for a variance to take it down to 17,000 square feet. So he'll still require all the same R1 zoning requirements of a 10-foot setback and all that stuff versus an R2. So the only variance he's asking for is to reduce the lot size from 20,000 to 17. It's just because the ownership is to the center of the road.
Okay. That was...
But we're not, no, you're not coming to the plan, I just want to verify, you're not coming to plan commission for R2?
No, we're not.
Okay.
We're trying to keep it R1.
R1, okay.
And that was my question.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Final, no more public hearing. Comments closed. Again, this is a rezone of an R1.
Nope, not a rezone.
Or variance, I'm sorry, variance.
It's getting late.
All right,
It's
I
past
know.
John's bedtime.
It is past my bedtime. I was at the Bears game yesterday, so. All right. Discussion for the board, comments?
I'm going to make a motion to approve. I think approval will not be injurious to public health, safety, morals, comfort, or the general welfare of the community. The use and the value of the area adjacent to the property, including the variance, will not be affected in a substantially adverse manner. The strict application of the terms of the zoning ordinance will result in practical difficulties in the use of this property.
17,000 square feet,
And the contingency that the lot will be 17,000 square feet.
no less than 17,000.
less than.
I got a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I got a second, discussion? Roll call, please.
Drago Popovic,
Yes.
Brendan Sheeran,
Yep.
Nancy Wooland.
Yes.
I'm sorry, could you repeat that?
Yes.
John Kennedy.
Yes. All right, thank you, everyone. New
you very much.
business, no new or old business, public comment. Anyone for public comment?